great lunch, and the AC is also kind of full. So before you guys actually plan to, take a 10-minute nap, I'm going to stop you from doing that. Yeah, I know food and Kochi has a really great relation. I have been personally experiencing that for like last 2 days. Yeah, because I started my breakfast with dosa. I I had biryani, anda biryani at lunch, and then again these guys took me yesterday night to a small dinner. So Kochi and food has a really great relation. But 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 before you guys sleep, let's get back to something new. As these guys have introduced me, let's start. Okay, so how many people here have been working remotely, know what is remote work, or are currently working remotely? Oh, pretty many in my gang. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. A lot of people, okay. So so after my presentation, if you guys happen to fall into some doubts or something, and I'm not around, have a look at these hands. Where were those hands? I mean, can I have those hands up, please? If I'm not available, these guys would probably be able to answer you all your questions. Yeah. So remote work means working remotely, but for students, for many people, for my parents, Dadaji, Mamaji, Kakaji, sabke liye, it is like someone sitting in front of the computer for like 10 hours every day, and they wonder what we do. How many of you guys have experienced such kind of things? And sitting at home doing nothing? Yeah, so this is remote work? No. Remote work is not like that. Remote work basically is like you sit somewhere, not particularly home, maybe your small office, and work sincerely with discipline all the time. When I say all the time, I mean to say all the time you are supposed to, and not all the day. But yes, it involves a lot of things. You need to be ready for that. And today I'm going to actually share all my experiences of working remotely for like last a few years. And before I stopped running my own small agency and switched to remote working. It's been a few years now, and so these are my experiences. So the pointers you guys will be looking at are pretty common, pretty everyday things, but these are some points where we guys would. I would be narrating you a few incidents, a few stories on how things happen, how I go about it, what are my approaches. So you understand on how things go about. The first and the foremost thing when you start working remotely, so-called remotely, is time management. Now, it is not that time management ki I have to get up in the morning, do 2 hours of work, 3 hours of this, 4 hours of that, and done. No, not like that. Time management is like during the course of the day, I will work for these many hours, and I will go to gym for these many hours, and I will learn for this many hours. So leaving the work thing and the learn thing whatever comes is not to be included in the time management. That is basically obviously for me. That's something which I have been doing. So when it starts with time management, the first thing which comes is discipline, and the second thing which comes is commitment. Discipline means there should be a work discipline, there should be a house discipline. I was pretty undisciplined before I started working remotely, and of late I started experiencing the bad outputs of that. So how I implemented discipline in my life is I set the number of hours I will be working for a day, and I set the number of hours I set the number of hours I'll be working for a week, and then I plan accordingly that which day, what time I will be working, what time I will be learning, and so on. So when you start working for the week, you should have the whole week plan ready. That okay, fine, Monday 8 hours, Tuesday 7 hours, Wednesday 10 hours, and so on. So I decided to have a whole week plan first. Then gradually, when I got used to the week plan, I shifted to a 2-week plan, then a 3-week plan, and now I'm in the process where I implement a 4-week plan at a stretch. So my month end starts with making a plan. That okay, fine, month of December, I am going to work these many hours, and I work that many hours, and yes. So when I say I work these many hours, I completely work that many hours. I mean that really does not include any of my lunch breaks. That does not include any of my washroom breaks, phone breaks, this breaks, that breaks, chai breaks, sutta breaks, nothing. That absolutely does not include anything. That is pure work. I mean, nothing else. If I have to stop for a call, I stop my time. And that's how I count that I work these many hours. So you need to be really specific, you need to be really disciplined when you have to work remotely. It's not something like a 9 to 5 job where you go to the job, you get a small break for tea, you get a small break for chai, you get a small break for lunch, and then you go for team discussions and do stuffs and do all the time pass which happens in the office, do chitter chatters. So yes, I mean that really does not happen in remote work, because what happens is when I work, I have a timer which tracks how much time I work, which tracks what I work, and which tracks where do I work. So for example, I stop for like 5 minutes, I don't touch my computer, the timer is going to stop. Khata. For example, I am working and then I go to I just want to go to YouTube and do stuff, and I just go to YouTube, find some movie trailers and stuff. That is going to be tracked, and that is going to be excluded from my time. So this is the first thing which is to be kept in mind while you work remotely. The next thing is team communication, because I, being a support guy, I've been working in support for like a few years now, and so you need to have a great team communication when you work in a team which is spread across the globe, who sleep. I mean, it's a team which works when you sleep, you work when they sleep. So it's vice versa. So you need to be really specific about what you're communicating with them. For example, I am working on a member concern or something like that, and I happen to get stuck up in middle, and then I have to send that particular thing to someone else so that they can take up. So for example, I work in WPMU. There are many people here from WPMU. They also. So for example, today I'm working on an issue. I get stuck up, and tomorrow I need that issue to be worked out by someone else. What am I going to do is I'm going to write every specific description, every specific thing which I have been working on, which I have found, and I'm going to send a really detailed report to someone else. So then that person is going to take over and work on it. So you need to be really specific when you write. You need to be clear. You need to be crisp. So end point. What we take from team communication is your communication should be really nice. You should be great at communicating things. That is what team communication is. Because what happens is today, if you write something and say there's someone from my team who is going to work on that and they are really not clear with what I mean, then that's a move. What happens is he will write back to me asking certain questions. I have to reply them, and then the cycle will go round and round. So what happens is I start work morning 8 o'clock. I make a ticket which is not clear. Then there is someone from the team named Joel who is going to work on that particular thing at say what night 10 o'clock, and I will be going to bed at 10 o'clock. So Joel comes in, Joel looks at it, and Joel is like, what the hell? This is like shit. I don't understand anything. Where are the proofs? Where are the logs? Where is everything? And then he calmly writes, okay, I need this. What happened when you did this? What happened when you did that? And he will just leave it. Because he is not clear with the issue. So what happens is, the time frame required for any particular thing to resolve will increase. When time increases, your reputation for work goes down. I mean, it really does not go down that way, but what happens is your members have to wait, and then apparently your company is in the losses. Because end of the day, what will happen is any member would expect you to revert back to them in the stipulated period of time. So this is where team communication comes intact. The next thing is prioritizing things when we work. So what do I mean by prioritizing? When I mean prioritize, I need to know the emergence of anything. So I start work at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I have 10 things on my plate. It's not a FIFO structure where I will work in. I need to figure out what is really important. I need to see what is less important. I need to see who is waiting more for the reply. So if there's a customer and his ticket is on the 10th number, but say what, his whole site is down, he needs to get a reply first because his business is getting ruined. So you need to prioritize things and accordingly work on it. This is completely work related thing. But the next thing is life related, that you need to have your schedule ready for the day. You need to know that at any point of time, this is my first priority, and obviously 90% of the times the work would be your first priority, but at times this is not the case. In some point of cases, you really need to also look into family things. You need to look into personal things. So prioritizing things is really important when you work remotely, because there's no one who is going to come and tell you, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to complete this site, you have to work on this issue. No one is going to come. There is no one who will come and trouble you and say, today you have to do this and then only you will go home. Because you are already at home, how will you go home? So this is remote work again. I mean, many of you might be thinking that, now this is like super complicated and stuff, but I'm like just putting everything crisp and clear on the plate. So So you get an idea that what things happen, how things happen around remote working. Then, as I said in the first point, commitment and discipline is really important. If I say I'm going to work 8 hours, I am going to work 8 hours. That is the commitment. So I'll tell you a small story relating to commitment. I would not name people, I would not name companies, I would not name things, but the story is very simple. I got on a trial with some company and I was like really doing great. The conversations were like superb. I had like 5 stars and 4 stars. The bosses were happy. My communication was great. Everything was superb. But you know, we Indians are like super confident, and then we become overconfident. And when we become overconfident, we commit something which is something next to impossible. And that is what happened with me when I was working with someone on a trial job. And what happened is I committed 200 tickets for the week, and I could just complete like 180 tickets for the week. And that is where the lack of commitment came in. Like overconfidence mera zyada tha. I would say I was like overconfident at that time, but you need to keep that in mind. You need to estimate that, okay, fine, I will be able to do this much, then you should be able to do that much. This would not be agreed that you promise 400 and you do 200. That's something which is really not accepted, because what happens is in these remote companies, no one will come and tell you to do specific things on specific time. No one will overburden you out with relating to tasks, but you have to define your own tasks. You will have to define how many tasks will you be working on this particular week, what things you will be working on, what new things are you going to plan and learn, and then prepare a chart and then submit it. So yes, this is really, really important. You need to be really disciplined. So I did not notice the slide went ahead. Yeah. So the next part is work and focus. Work and focus. So before starting work and focus, I don't think anyone is focusing here. I mean, those guys at the back are like sleeping. Those guys are like in the mobiles. 2 uncles are there. First the paid bhar now they are like in plans of sleep. These guys are like watching me. Joel is like calm. Abhi khana khaya hai. So yes, those guys out on the back. I request you to keep your mobiles a bit away. Those uncles out there, please don't sleep. I'm not that boring. I'm really not that boring. So work focus is something which is really important. So there's again another story which I have for work focus. One fine day I got up in the morning at 4 o'clock. I started working, and 6 o'clock I get a call from my colleague saying that, you know what, my computer broke down. And I'm like, okay. So I drove 40 kilometers straight to give him my spare machine, and he drove around 30 kilometers straight to take that machine. And then he got back home and started working again. So this is something which you need to understand, that this is not a desk job. This is not a job where you give out excuses. My computer kharab ho gaya. My RAM is not working. I need to call the engineer. This is really not going to work. So I drove the 30 kilometers. He drove 20-30 kilometers, and he took the machine. He went home. He started working. I got back home. I started working. And then we worked for like 6-7 hours. So this is called work, and the other thing is called focus. Matlab, we were so focused that we just knew we need to meet, we need to exchange things, and we need to get back and work. So I started 6 o'clock. I reached back 8 o'clock, and I was again on my desk working till 3 o'clock in the afternoon. This is work and focus. Ek saath. I know this can be a bit boring, but this is how it works when you actually start working remotely. The next thing is quality and performance. Out of these all things, then comes this quality and performance. So Indian companies are like really, what you call, really excited to have that performance bonus and performance reports, quality reports and stuff. So how quality and how performance comes into our scenarios, another story. The story is I'm sorry. I missed it from my mind. I have to wait for a minute. Yes. So quality and performance. So what happens is, I work 8 hours per day, which is like 40 hours per week, and which is like 160 hours per month. When I mean 160 hours per month, I mean complete 160 hours. As I mentioned before, there is no chai break, there is no coffee break, no phone break, no break. There is absolutely no break. So what happens is, one fine day, my colleague fell ill, and he was not able to work for like 15 to 18 days. And then I had to wake up every morning and cover his shifts because he was not keeping well. So here comes a scenario where I was working from morning 4:30 to 11:30, and then again doing my regular shifts, which were like at 2:30 to 7:30. Sorry, 1:30 to 7:30. So I was working for like 13 hours per day. 13 hours to 14 hours per day, which were like super hectic. I mean, and then I had to maintain the quality of work I did, the performance which I was giving back, the output which I was giving back to members. I had to maintain that. And what happens is, like, so we support people. We do chat shifts. We have shifts where we sit on chats and we talk to you people, basically our members. So we give all-in-one support basically. So what happens is, I sit on chats, and after 9 hours of chat, I'm like, oh my god, what is he talking about? I mean, there comes a member who is like super clear with his question, but then too, I really don't get anything out of it. I mean, this has happened with me like 2 days back, I think, or 3 days back, when I was doing coverage shifts, and then I stumbled into our group channel and I asked Aditya, I was like, are you sure this is wrong? Or are you sure this is correct? Or are you sure what is happening? And then he's like, okay, no, wait, this is not the thing. So again, this again links to quality. So this quality performance thing, again when I tell you my story, it again goes back to team communication. What happens is, I work for 8 hours. I work for 9 hours, and then my brain is not running, and then I have to ask someone for the help. There again, I need to have great communication. So things are really interconnected over here. Then again, getting back to quality and performance, we need to be super clear about things. Then is when people like Aditya, people like me, Joel, people like Nitin, and many more people in the behind will be able to help me with the issue. This is how it is. So after working for like 2-3 years, I I came to know that, roaming around cafes, roaming around districts, roaming around cities, I was like traveling a lot back then, is really not going to help me in this remote work. So I went back home and I decided to make a small office inside my room. Then I went ahead and bought a table. I went ahead and bought a good display and I made my table. And I made my table. And then I decided that I will sit on this table, on the chair actually, sorry, not the table. I will sit on this chair and I will keep everything on this table and I will work. So I made a proper setup where I would work, a proper thing which would be good for me. And this is how I was able to get more growth in my performance, get more growth in things I was working on. Then the last thing which comes into contact when you work remotely is technological hiccups. And today we are in a country where internet is super, power is super, resources are very, very super. And in this super and very, very super scenarios, we lose internet, we lose electricity, there's a power cut, then again someone comes in when something happens, somewhere a road is dug and the internet line gets lost. So there are many technological hiccups which happen around remote work. You need to have backups to tackle that. Like, internet is not working, no problem. I have a hotspot. I have 2 hotspots. And I ended up having 3 hotspots sometime. So that was the case when I was roaming around cities. One internet connection is not working, okay, switch off, next starts. Second is not working, no problem, third starts. So I had 4 SIM cards, 4 different hotspots, because battery was getting depreciated, so I needed to have power banks and I needed to have hotspots. So technological hiccups matter a lot. You need to be ready with everything and make sure things happen nicely. So after listening to everything remote, after listening to all these technological hiccups, all the challenges, if at all you would like to work remotely, it is a great option. Things are really great, and yes, we are also hiring. So if you guys are planning to work remotely, if you guys are developers, if you guys are support people, if you guys are bloggers, marketers, whatever, we are always hiring. You guys can reach out to us, and this is me, Prathamesh, by the way. Any questions?